What's going on YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how to land your first recruiting agency client. It's Ben, and on this channel I talk about recruiting, business, entrepreneurship, pretty much everything in between. And if you're into that kind of stuff, I highly suggest that you go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below. Now, without further ado, let's discuss how to get your first recruiting agency client. All right, so just to preface this, I'm going to keep this very high level, simplistic, just because I know a lot of the audience is brand new to recruiting. And so I wanted to show you the exact steps that you would take to land your first recruiting agency client. However, I am going to keep it really straightforward and not deviate too much into the tactics, techniques, and anything advanced. So please watch from start to finish because you will get value out of this. So the first thing that you're going to want to make sure you have on point is your online image. This would include things like having a basic website up, having an optimized LinkedIn profile that explains who you are and what you do. And last but not least, creating a professional business email so that everyone knows you're a serious player in the recruiting game, not just some joker fishing for business. Now, beyond those three items, you really don't need much more than that to be presentable to potential clients online. The thing is, clients may or may not check you out online thoroughly, but if they do and you're not on point entirely, your chances of landing that contract are pretty much going to go down the drain, so you might as well get your online image up to par. Now, the second thing that you need to do is to identify potential clients. If you are brand new to recruiting, you have to keep in mind that some of the easiest clients to get contracts with are going to be in the general labor space. These clients would include things like manufacturing, production, transportation, warehousing, logistics, and administrative. Check out companies that are already posting on things like Indeed.com or even LinkedIn job postings. This is going to give you a really good idea of who's already hiring. So you basically don't have to do half of the legwork before you even get to your client because you already know that these companies are hiring for positions. You simply have to figure out who to connect with and how to approach them. And we're going to go over that in just a second. Once you've searched Indeed, LinkedIn, or maybe even Facebook for companies that are hiring, a really good strategy is to make a list of about 15 to 20 companies that you strongly believe would be good potential clients for you. All right, so we're set up online, we're looking good, we've got a list of 15 or 20 companies that are potential clients. Now, what do? We target those companies, of course. Now, approaching clients is going to be the most strategic part of landing your first one, and here's why. You have to know who to talk to. Lucky for us, we have LinkedIn, and LinkedIn pretty much has a database of every single employee that works at any given company. So pick a random company and search it on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to actually access a small database on the sideline that says see all employees that work at company XYZ. Click that, and you'll find all of the employees that work there. Now, when you're approaching potential clients, I always suggest the top to bottom strategy. The top to bottom strategy is super simple. All it means is that you approach the people that are at the top prior to approaching the people at the mid-level or the lower level, or worst case scenario, human resources. Usually the decision makers that you need to talk to in order to sign a contract to do recruitment for that company are going to be the individuals at the top. And so it only makes sense that you target those people first before going after anybody else to contact. These are going to be people like the CEO, VPs, directors, or pretty much anybody else with an important sounding title. As I said before, do not start out by reaching out to human resources. This will only kill your chances of getting your first client. Now, the reason I always say that is because 99% of the time, human resources is not there to champion your cause. Human resources works as an internal recruiter, and therefore it doesn't really make sense for you as a recruiting agency to contact them about recruiting. It makes much more sense for you to talk to a high-level decision maker, which then delegates the process down to HR sometimes, or just works with you directly on it, and it just makes a lot more sense talking to someone higher than HR. And you can thank me later for that. Actually, you can just thank me right now just by smashing that like button if you would. Okay, so once you've identified the people that you want to target, you want to identify the method by which you want to target them. Some of you may be very comfortable with cold calling. Some of you may be very comfortable with cold emailing. Warning, whichever method you choose, you need to make sure you're good at it. Pretty much if you're going to make cold calls to these companies and these contacts, just be ready to start really good conversations with these decision makers if you can get them on the phone. This also means that if you're going to send out a bunch of cold emails, you had better have really good messaging in those cold emails. So here's the deal. Clients are never going to come to you. You must always go to clients. Therefore, it is imperative that your reach out game is really, really strong. Pretty much this means that you need to have a really good follow-up game. So if your calls aren't being returned, call again in a few days. If your emails aren't getting returned, send a few more emails in a couple days. Basically follow up until you start getting some responses, or you get no's, or a yes. Now eventually, if things are done right, you will get a yes. Now this response could be anything from yes, we do need your help, or yes, we'd like to hear what you have to offer us. Again, this is where recruiting gets really creative and you get to step up and show your A game. At this point, you want to do nothing else other than get this potential client on a phone meeting with you ASAP. Now, I've said it just about 100 times, but I'll say it again. Nothing good is ever going to be accomplished over an email thread. You absolutely have to get your potential client on the phone. That's where you're going to discuss terms, the roles that they need to fill. All of the discussion is going to happen, and the close will happen on the phone. All right, now here's exactly how your phone meeting should go. Introduce yourself and discuss pleasantries for a few minutes. Then ask them about the roles that they need help filling. Tell them explicitly about your terms, meaning your fee and your guarantee. Get their feedback on your terms and do whatever you can to get a verbal yes from them. Last but not least, whether it's still on the phone or right after the phone call, get a contract over to this client ASAP. Now, if and only if this company signs your contract, you have officially landed your first client. Bravo. Now, to be completely fair, this is a very rough draft of what landing your first client looks like. However, this is pretty much the outline, and by following it, you are on the right track. As you advance in recruiting, of course, there will be more advanced techniques, strategies, and tactics, and things will get easier and easier and become more second nature, and you'll be able to get clients faster and faster. However, I always like to say that nothing is going to happen overnight, nor should it. Alright guys, if you found this video helpful, please smash that like button, subscribe, hit the alert button so you know every time I come out with a new video. I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then.